What's up, everybody? Selvin here with another episode of the Black Student Success Podcast, brought to you by Inquire Higher, where we promote and support the success of Black students and professionals through multimedia. If you can provide our listeners just kind of with a way to navigate, and not only just navigate those different spaces to kind of make sure that they're keeping themselves up, but still finding a way to make sure that they're still themselves, once they kind of navigate through. So any pieces of advice that you would give to our audience with that?
So I think this podcast and this platform is exactly why this is so important and why I'm so happy to be here, is because a transformational thing was actually an undergrad for me. So when I went from community college to the university at UC Davis, that was my first experience seeing Black excellence and seeing it celebrated. But more importantly, the diversity of Black identities that didn't fit into a box of stereotypes that was given to me in high school, where you can be yourself, be Black, and succeed and be celebrated for your individuality of that. And you just so happen to have this identity of Blackness, right? It was just so transformational for me. And that actually healed a lot of that trauma initially from that, at least dealing with the racism aspect of it. That unpacked a lot of things for me. And in addition, the racism of my experience actually pushed me to get my degree in sociology. So I wanted to understand my pain at a theoretical level. I did undergrad research on the Black Lives Matter movement, understanding race in healthcare. So well versed in talking about race and those issues. But I think essentially it's like being around an environment where Black excellence and Black individuality is celebrated, where you don't have to fit into a box. That is just so powerful. So I think that's one aspect of it. And then going to more kind of tactical things of like navigating it is like, you're going to feel crazy. You're going to feel crazy because you got to trust your gut. Something feels off. You get that weird look. People talking to you in a slight way. You can't say it's racism on the top, but you know what you know. And you can feel it. And it's one of those things where like it happens and like an hour, a couple hours later, like, wait, did that just happen? Did that person just do X, Y, Z to me? Is it because of my skin color? Like, I've had those experiences all the time. Sometimes it's very hidden. Sometimes it's very blatant. What you have to do is understand, like, what's your place in a certain social setting, and not to say like fit in where you sit in, not that at all, but more so like, how can you build an environment of people who are actually allies and supportive of you regardless of race, but also recognize that there is a power dynamic, and there may be people who are in a more powerful position than you who may hold on to those biases, and you're going to learn how to navigate around that and not let them be a limiting factor. And so, I'm very cognizant, especially now as a career aspect of it. Who's my team? Who's my manager? Who's the people I'm surrounding myself around? Because are they going to be a blocker to my success, or are they going to be attributing to my success? And so being able to trust your gut and your instincts on the people you surround by you is going to be really crucial in your ability to build that environment for success and not be impacted by the negativity of bias, because it's going to happen regardless, whether you like it or not. And so what can you control to really navigate that? And then it's the final moment. It sucks that we have to do this, but like code switching, that's a crucial skill. Like I can't go to the boardroom, but like, what's up? What's good? What's happening with you? Right? Like, I gotta talk accordingly to fit that environment. And so knowing how to be a social chameleon, again, you'll hear a lot of companies be like, be your authentic self. Be your authentic self until it impacts you negatively, right? And so that's just it's a sad reality, and I wish it wasn't that case. But in certain corporate environments where it is, that's just how it is. And you have to decide for yourself, are you willing to make that, is that worthwhile for you to be in that environment? And if it's not, then don't be in that environment. Be in a better environment for you that would accept that. And what are the trade-offs for that? And for me, I'm okay with that trade-off because I see the bigger vision. I can see myself like, all right, I deal with these kind of microaggressions, right? But that means I'm at a seat of the table, and I can make decisions to help other people that look like me or have my background experiences be here and also be an ally and be a supportive person in this space.
Absolutely. And I think what centered around all of that was just really the awareness, and then not just awareness of yourself, because you do need to kind of know your limits, know who's being good for you, who is not, and and what are those environments that are very safe and are allowing you to grow, but also being aware of those of your audience essentially, and the people who you're around. And okay, if I say this in a certain way, is it going to be received the way that I want it to be received? And if I'm doing so, I'm essentially kind of for the coda, or not the code, but for the case of code switching, am I changing myself as I'm changing the way that I'm directing to my audience, or am I making sure that my message is getting received for, like you said, that bigger picture, but I'm still myself to the core, so being able to recognize those things, I think, is very, very important. And if you're able to do so early on, and you're able to accept who you are, and know that you just need to put yourself in the right environment, or the right around the right number of people to who also believe in you, or also want to see you do well, then those are some of those things that I heard in your response that kind of made sense. So I appreciate that.
Definitely. And one thing I want to add on the code switching, just to kind of celebrate that aspect of it, not the fact that we have to code switch, but our ability to code switch. It's starting to get more recognized. I think it's African American Vernacular English, I believe. That's the phrase, but like, that's being recognized. The actual language and the linguistics behind it is so complex. The fact that we can speak on both sides, that complexity, like that's amazing. How we can go into different environments and just really speak more directly to another individual in the way that best fits them, and our ability to talk in two different dialects.
You're right.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And to think how quickly your brain has to react. And we can even, equate that to, just the fact that, not even, specifically with race, but for the fact, like, if like I'm always going to jump back to my higher ed background. So it's like, I'm going to talk a way to students, and I'm going to talk a different way to like colleagues, also, like, or professors or something like that. So
yeah.
So if you know your audience, which I know is like definitely a theme in when it comes to aspects of data, you have to do that. You have to do that to make sure that whatever you're trying to get across is going to be received in the way that you want it to.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's one thing I definitely struggle with when doing this code switching, getting more adept at it, is like, am I being fake? Is this not real? But I think one way, and maybe it's just mental gymnastics, maybe I'm wrong. I'm open to changing, but like, I think what you're getting at is like knowing who your audience is and how to speak to them effectively. And that's really powerful.
Absolutely. So even with all these setbacks that you face, I'm sure there were people that were, like you said, in your corner, that really, either made a way for you or just really supported what you're doing. You talked really highly about your mom, and I'm sure that's one of the people on your list. But who were some of those people who really helped push you forward?
Definitely. So obviously, my mom, I can talk novels about the amazingness my mom's provided. I've already talked about it a little bit, so I won't repeat it again, even though I really want to. But essentially, she's like, I think the key thing for her is like, I didn't feel pressure. Like, I wasn't pressured to be a doctor or anything like that. My pressure was I sacrificed and didn't pursue my dream, so you can pursue whatever dream you wanted. And that's something I didn't get at first. And I provide so much like pressure on myself that wasn't needed. My mom was just like, why are you stressing about not being a doctor? Like, are you happy what you're doing? I was like, yeah. She's like, good. I'm happy then too. Right. So I think that's very freeing aspect of that. The other aspect, my wife, as I said, she was with me through my lowest of lows, highest of highs. And my whole motto is like, many times my wife believes in me before I believe in myself. And if my wife can believe in me, I can do anything. Right. That's powerful for that. And then kind of on the mentorship side, I think there's two kind of key mentors that fall in place. One of them, Stephen Nichols, he was been my mentor since I was in high school. And he essentially, what's wild is now thinking about it, I'm 29 now, and he was about 29 when he met me when I was like 17. So it's kind of full circle. We're great friends now, but he provided me so much advice on how to navigate and think about my career and grow professionally. That is just, he just set me up for success, even down to like, hey, yeah, want an internship for job experience? Here you go. Like that's that's really cool. And then more recently, my current manager at my job, I've been working at the startup for a little over 2 years now. The way she has built up my career and mentored me to be a leader within an organization, and the amount of time and opportunity she's fought for to invest in me, I attribute a lot of my success in data to my manager, Stephanie Tickner, Dr. Stephanie Tickner. She has a PhD. But I've learned so much from her. And I really just would not be where I'm at in my career without her just advocating for me, creating opportunities for me, and genuinely caring about me as a person and for my career. And so there's multiple aspects of people. There's mentors, there's managers, and then there's family and your loved ones. And collectively, it really takes a village. All my success is not from me. It's from the collection of people supporting me. And that's like the most important thing, is just having community, building community, and your community will show up for you and you'll show up for your community back, likewise. And you can achieve great things with community.
Absolutely. It's a great reminder knowing that you can't achieve everything by yourself. And that's okay. That's okay that, to have help, because everybody has help with no matter what. You don't kind of, have this trajectory in life, picking up all the things that you're supposed to have. You find some of those things out by mistake, or you find them out by somebody, kind of, showing you the way. And so, and the fact that you have these people in different areas of your life and they're all collectively building you up, that's also a good thing. So again, that kind of goes back to the point of really expanding your horizon, because if you don't put yourself into certain environments or think that there's an opportunity there, you might not meet some of those people who could be one of those key people to really put you in the place, even if it's not related to whatever that environment is. I think we can definitely point out some people who in our past lives who whether you worked at the ice cream shop and it was your manager, and obviously you probably don't work in ice cream anymore, but but that was a key person because they were just so supportive, and for whatever reason they believed in you and really kind of made whatever that process, whether it was work or just kind of dealing with personal stuff, they were really supportive in that way. So I'm glad that you have all of those people in those different areas of your life.
Definitely. And I think a key aspect of it is identify people who see your potential and see more than you that you currently see it yourself, because those individuals who are able to identify that are typically also able to extract that greatness out of you. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. How do you pay it forward? What's, given everything that you've experienced, the good and the bad and the things that you've learned from, how do you take all those things to really pay it forward, kind of in the work that you do, or even outside of just, your professional career?
Definitely, man, this is something I really struggle with. Not paying it forward, but how do I pay it forward, and how can I do more? Because again, like I said, it's not me. There's all these people supporting me to get to this point. The way I pay it back to them is to continue that process. And so, on multiple aspects. So when I taking a step back, also is you don't have to wait for yourself to be successful to pay it forward either. You can start right now. Mm-hmm. And that really cleared for me is I always felt once I got one step forward, I have to help people right behind me, right? And I'll go more into this, how this kind of evolved, where that's actually a mistake at a certain point. And I'll go into that. But essentially, it's even when I was in community college, I was developing mentorship programs. I was developing scholarships. I was going to the dean and being this is the problem with our school right now. This is the gap. Here's my plan to fix it. I've already talked to 3 other leaders in the organization here and at another organization who are on page. Do you want to be on the page too, right? That's, again, just showing up. I didn't know what I was doing. I was 19? I didn't know what I was doing, but I just showed up and I was passionate. I was I'm going to help people because I see myself here and I'm alone. Why am I alone? Okay, there's these gaps here. How can I fix this, right? Going forward, when I got to UC Davis, I started a pipeline program where transfer students get the support they need for that. And then moving forward, I joined helping out with a nonprofit after I graduated from my grad school program to provide my expertise for free on community health aspects of it, right? But then something happens where you start growing in expertise and your skills, and there's a lot of people who want your help. And this is a good problem to have because, like, you built up your skills, you built up your expertise, you built up your reputation as someone who can help. You can't help everyone because if you try to do that, then you start to stagnate. And so something I'm currently thinking through right now is how can I scale my help to as many people as possible? I still try to be grounded. So I still mentor a few people every now and then when I have the bandwidth. And when I do mentor them, I'm like, I'm your resource for the rest of your life, basically. So it's like a very intentional thing. Like I have a link to my calendar where I'm like, here's my link. You don't have to hit me up. Just put time on my calendar. I'll show up, kind of thing. Right. So there's a few people where I've helped them grow in their data career and spend time with them. Sometimes it'll be randomly or like, I have some bandwidth. I got a couple hours and I'll have like, cause I do content creation. I have followers on LinkedIn. A random follower will be like, can you help me do this? And I'll be like, sure. Like super random, no time, rhyme or reason. But the question goes back to is how can I scale and help even more people? And I'm still figuring that out, but I think that's why I've really turned to content. I create so much free content to help people grow in their careers and provide vulnerable advice about what I'm going through. Because by having a platform that I created, I have distribution channels to reach as many people as possible. So I may not be able to help one person to the scale I want yet. Doing podcasts like these and being very vulnerable about my experience, putting out tutorials that you don't have to pay for to access, things along those lines, connecting people who can't help one-on-one. That's how I kind of pay it forward. But my focus is always, how can I scale the impact of improving people's lives around me? Because so many people have done that for me.
There you go. Yeah. And great that you identified that you only have a certain capacity and just like anybody else, you especially, those who have like really big hearts and they really want to like make sure that they get to every single person at this super high level. But unfortunately it's not possible, but
You'll burn out.
Yeah, you will. And then
I've burned out multiple times.
And then who can you help after that? So yeah, so
you gotta fill your cup first before you fill others.
Please do. So it's great that once identifying it, then the next question is, okay, how can, like you said, how can I scale this? How can I reach more people, at that level that I would like, but keeping that effort, to the same so that I can still, really kind of pour into myself. So it's really good that you thought of, content being as that avenue to do so. And and that's not the only avenue that you can take to really kind of scale that help. So it's so it's great that you found that route Definitely. To do so. And so,
can I dive into it? So
please.
My ultimate dream, the reason why I got into entrepreneurship, and this really ties to like kind of the core mission of why I work so hard. I put in a lot of hours and a lot of sacrifice for things because I have this mission of like, how can I be financially free to a point where I can spend all my time just thinking about how to solve hard problems that impact others? How can I have the income where I am the foundation? I can write the check to the nonprofit and be like, don't worry about no strings attached, help your community. How can I be that person? That's what really led me to entrepreneurship. And so my ultimate vision is I want to create successful companies. That's why I got into entrepreneurship, build a system in which I have vehicles through a business to reduce my taxes, increase the way I can stretch my dollars, and use that to invest back into the communities. So powerful. Imagine being the person where you don't have to go to a bank. You can just be like, hey, let me just go to Mark. He'll write me a great loan, right? That's like, I can't get anywhere else. He'll have the infrastructure in place to support my business and go to market, have the marketing, all that stuff within one system. And imagine having multiple businesses where you have so much cash flow where you're like, all right, well, how can I reduce my taxes? Oh, I can donate. All right, let me start a foundation kind of thing. These are like grandiose ideas, but I've been working on this since I was 18. So that's the bigger vision of how can I increase my financial freedom so I can use money as a tool to help empower others in ways they historically can't get the access to.
Yeah.
That's a whole other tangent, but
yeah,
I can go more into that if you want. That might go too much in the weeds.
That's perfect. I mean, I think that really does explain, how you are not only trying to do so now, but you're actively thinking about it, even if you're not at the point where you want to the level that you want to pay it for. You're thinking about it now, and even with the stuff that you're doing, you're still doing so, and you have this grand plan as far as how you want to continue doing that, how that's going to fulfill your life and kind of meet your own goals while you're able to kind of help those who are either we're in the same position as you or completely different, but they're trying to build themselves up, and so you're creating those opportunities, or at least have a plan to do so. So I mean, that's definitely a great way to kind of give back to those who either poured into you, or those that you're seeing are kind of on the come up themselves.
Definitely. It's like how can I build a system to be financially free, and to use the additional money I have just to put into solving social problems and investing in others to grow. Like that's the dream. Yep. That's the dream right there. I'm gonna make it happen too. I don't know when or how, but I know I'm gonna make it happen.
It's gonna happen. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Any last words that you want to have for our audience, before we wrap things up?
I think man, what would be some great last words? So much pressure for this. I think the biggest thing is create your community and create systems to have a solid community, because you can only get so far by yourself. You really need a community of friends, mentors, other peers. And sometimes people leave and enter community at times, maybe for a long time, maybe for a short time, but really think, what is the group of people and network around me that is going to support my success and my dreams? And more importantly is, how can I support the people around me and help them achieve their dreams? Focus on giving to others. Give. Don't even focus on something having in return. Yeah, you'll be giving a lot, but I tell you, I've been doing this since I was 18. I'm almost 29 now. The amount of people are willing to give back to me in my lowest times, because I've just given so much unconditionally, you will be surprised how many people will show up for you because you're just so selfless and genuine about that. Try to foster genuine connections, genuine community, because you'll have the most genuine people to help you in your highs and your lows.
Absolutely. Hey, there was no pressure there. I think that was a great way to wrap up. so Mark, I truly appreciate your time. I appreciate you being able to share your story, be vulnerable, and really give our listeners a different perspective as you kind of build yourself and have built this career within data, and how you use that to solve problems and give back to your community. So thanks again for that.
Definitely. It's so excited to be here. So thank you.
No, thank you. So we're going to have all of Mark's information in the description. So again, thanks for being on the show, and thanks for listening to us. Feel free to reach out to us. Our website is inquirehigher.com. You can reach us by email at contact@inquirehigher.com. And we're also on Facebook and Instagram if you want to reach us that way. So until next time, peace.